So I finally got some silver filament, which means I can do the reprints of the domes. So this week we're going to be gluing the domes together, so that will get completed. But first of all, I need to give a really big thank you and a big shout out to P40F20, Simon Vaughan, Horlicks, Steve Graham, Love Minis, Alan Allsop, Chris Campling, David Trapp, Chris Davies and Darren Breer. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Okay, so we're going to start off by selecting and printing off 4 of the 7 lower rings. Now we're going to use a different filament for this one. I think you're going to like it. We're going to arrange these on the build plate and they will take about 9 hours and 47 minutes. Usual layer height of 0.3 mil. They don't need to be superb quality. And as you can see, they did come out really well. I'm really happy. So this is dark blue by 3D Filaprint. Very happy with it. That's piece number 2. You saw piece 1 previously. Now I think these are all identical. However, I will print 1 through to 7 rather than printing one piece 7 times. And now these have got a gap in them. What you'll notice is you've got these little lugs in the middle, to sort of, as a spacer. So now we have these. We're now in a position to bring in some other pieces. Just have a little bit of a speculate, so to speak. Now you'll notice on the bottom of the dome there are some holes there, and on the lower ring also there's some holes, and the upper ring you will notice there's some holes. Now these will all line up together. Obviously once you've got the complete ring that will make more sense. But you see those holes will line up together, and that will go on to there like so. And what you will end up with is sorry, that's the wrong way round. And this will, now you'll start to see the R2D2's distinctive blue ring. You'll notice there's a little ridge in there, and there's a little ridge in there to make it look like they are separate pieces. And you see that's now beginning to look a little bit fabulous. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my my other 3 dome pieces. I'm going to put them together, pretty much what we did before. I'm going to just bolt them together with a screw that's far too long. In this case I'm probably going to use, I can't remember what I used last time, but a 30mm screw will be fine. And we will bolt them together so that they're solid. Then we'll loosen them up, which will then give us a little gap in the middle, so there'll be something like that. We'll then spread some glue in. I'm going to use the Yoo-hoo with some kind of spreader. These are actually failed prints, so I'm going to use these. Might as well recycle bits that you've got. Then we're going to tighten up the domes again. We're going to clamp them down, and then we're going to replace the screws with 16mm screws, and we're going to tighten them up properly, and then we can leave that to dry. I would recommend overnight. Now I'm going to do the stage after. I'm going to do that off camera, but it's going to be exactly the same. Once this is dry, we're going to put the 2 halves together, and we're going to do those exactly the same way. We'll bolt them with a screw that's too big. We'll open it up a little bit. We'll pop some glue in. We'll close them, clamp them, replace the screws. So what I'll do is I'll get on with this, and then we might as well put some music on, grab yourself a drink, and just have a good time.
Hey, how'd my father die?
49 times we fought that beast, your old man and me. We had a chicken head with duck feet, with a woman's face too.
Oh, that's rad.
And it was waiting in the bushes for us. Then I ripped off your dad's face. He was screaming screaming something awful. In fact, there was this huge mess and I had to change the floors.
The floors?
You see his blood had drained into the boards and I had to change them. But we all got a chicken duck woman thing waiting for us. Every day I worry all day about what's waiting in the bushes of love. 'Cause something's waiting in the bushes for us. Something's waiting in the bushes of love. Yeah, every day I worry all day about what's waiting in the bushes of love. Something's waiting in the bushes for us. Something's waiting in the bushes of love.
Yo, never knew my dad, he didn't care about me. Dead horizon is all my macro binoculars see. Moisture farming all my life and not a drop spilled. My aunt and uncle double sons and sipping blue milk. My aunt and uncle double sons, I'm sick of blue milk.
But then a desert hobo came and told me we all got a chicken duck woman thing waiting for us. Every day I worry all day about what's waiting in the bushes of love. Something's waiting in the bushes for us. Yeah, something's waiting in the bushes of love. Yeah, every day I worry all day about what's waiting in the bushes of love. Something's waiting in the bushes for us. Something's waiting in the bushes of love. Hold me when I open like a flower. Hold me right. Yeah, I ain't had to bake for a girl in a long time. A long time.
I think my cooking's awesome.
I've got her picture in my photo wagon.
I keep it poppin'.
Yeah, she'd probably love to honky tonk.
Probably love to honky tonk.
That's what I said. Waiting for us. I used to ride across the desert, you know. I used to glide on my speeder, faith that I don't find, but I don't wanna find. Waiting for me around the corner, oh no no. Waiting for us. I used to ride across the desert, you know. I used to glide on my speeder, faith that I don't find anymore. Crispy bodies by the door. 49 times. Yeah, it was 49 times, and now it might be waiting for you. Could be hiding behind that scrap pile. It's just a big cow. I know you really want someone to hold you, but we all got a chicken duck woman thing waiting for us. Yeah, every day I worry all day about what's waiting in the bushes of love. Something's waiting in the bushes for us. Yeah, something's waiting in the bushes of love. Yeah, every day I worry all day about what's waiting in the bushes of love. Something's waiting in the bushes for us. Yeah, something's waiting in the bushes of love. Yeah, every day I worry all day about what's waiting in the bushes of love. Something's waiting in the bushes for us. Yeah, something's waiting in the bushes of love. Yeah, every day I worry all day about what's waiting in the bushes of love. Something's waiting in the bushes for us.
Huh?
Something's waiting.
I had a dream. This cute girl kept kissing me over and over.
Oh, yeah, well, there's something I gotta tell you about her, but just remind me later.
Waiting for us.
I used to ride across the desert, you know. I used to glide on my speeder, pray that I don't find what I don't wanna find. Waiting for me around the corner, oh no, no.
Well, I have to be honest and say I'm glad I'd done it that way. What my plan has always been is to show you a technique, and then once I do that technique again later in the build, just get on with it. So obviously, because I've done gluing previously, I've already shown you how to do that and how we put the dome pieces together. That actually took me 40 minutes, but the results are amazing now. So we have a dome. This is extremely strong, and we're going to make it even stronger with a 3D pen. So like in other parts, we've we've gone through all the seams. Some of these seams don't line up perfectly. This is possibly because dome piece 5 isn't quite perfect, so perhaps we didn't quite line that up properly when we did the cuts. There's another piece here. Maybe it's just warped ever so slightly on the bed, not enough to notice until you put the pieces together. I don't know, but all of these will be fixed. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. It's strong as anything. So what we're going to do next week, we will take the dome top and we will add that. So we'll be using techniques that we've done before, basically just gluing and sticking and drilling, and then it will look something like that. And then we can then begin the tidying up process. I mean, it looks really nice now, but obviously once we sand it all down and start to fill it, then it will look even better. So I'm happy with the work I've done this week. Let's print off some pieces ready for a later issue. So the files that we're loading up next are the files called MB, do you know, I've actually forgotten what they're called now, MB Body 156. Now this is a large print at 14 hours and 14 minutes, so totally understandable if you wanted to separate the two. Now this one of the pieces actually comes in two, just like a piece that we did in a previous video. If you see there's a little F shape, now if that was actually attached to the print, that would create a large overhang and that would force us to use support. So a little bit extra work involved in attaching that once it's finished. However, it's going to save us an awful lot of money with supports. Yeah, that printed off really nicely. Okay, so this is our pieces, nice, just freshly printed off. This is piece number 5. You see some really nice heavy detailing coming through now. This will need a bit of a clean up, but on the whole it's been absolutely amazing. A few little problems I've got there which I'm really not going to worry about. If they do turn into larger holes as I file it down, we'll just fill that. So this is piece number 6. It is that way, and you know which way around. I do struggle with my 6s and my 9s, but you can see that it is actually printed so that you're looking at it from the outside. So we look at this one from the outside and we can see the 6s there, and excuse the light. So this is the extra piece. Now as you can see, I printed it off this way because that was probably the best way to print it. Now if this was actually part of the model, you would have this overhang there and it would just drip plastic anyway everywhere. So what they've done is they've Mr. Badley, he's made this piece separately, so there will be a slight bit of work to do, as in we've got to drill some holes out there, but we're talking minutes worth of work, and you can see that that's in right because that now creates a hole. You see we've got 2 half holes and now we've got a solid hole, and that will obviously be for the piece above. So really happy with this. There's quite a lot of pieces to do on the body, so it's nothing majorly significant at the moment, but you can see you can see little panels and things starting to come in, so really happy with that. Okay, so it's our favourite time of the week, our budgets, and we had £8.38 that we had from last week, and to that we've added £10 for our weekly budget for the week. We've done okay this week. We haven't gone over budget, we haven't really saved a lot of money. What we've done is we've printed off the upper ring sections 1 to 4. They were the blue bits at the beginning of the video. That came to £3.39. At the end of the video we printed off ring 1 pieces 5 and 6. That was quite expensive, quite large and detailed prints. That came to £4.67. And the screws, nuts and washers, Now I do buy these in bulk. I tend to buy 50 or 100 at the time. They are the cheapest way to buy them, and then I've priced them individually. So for example, if it cost me £1 to buy 100 of them, then obviously I would price them at a penny each. So because we use twice as many as we did last time we'd done the dome, because we'd done the dome and then we fixed the dome to the first one, so that came to £1.41. That brings our spend up to this week to £9.47, which gives us a balance carried over to next week of £8.91. So I'd like, if I may, to go through the comments from episode 6, and we will begin with P40F20. To paraphrase a line from the movie Jaws, I think you're going to need a bigger desk. With the project being full size, I hope that you can build in much more functionality than the Agostini R2 has. Perhaps you could have the periscope in the dome that we saw on Dagobah in The Empire Strikes Back. You might want to use wax paper when you're using super glue. Less chance of the paper sticking to your glued parts. I'm enjoying this build. Well, first of all, thank you. I'm really glad you're enjoying the build. And yes, I will agree that I'm going to need a bigger desk. I'm starting to struggle with the camera setup that I have at the moment. I'm actually looking at using alternative cameras. It's going to be a problem later on, but we'll deal with that when we come to it. The functionality that I'm planning, I'm kind of building this as I go, planning it as I go. I have the potential to do lots and lots of functionality. In fact, I could potentially put everything in. What's actually holding me back is my electronics knowledge, which is growing by the day. So yeah, we're going to try and get as much as we can in, but at the very, very least, I'm just going to have a remote control R2. But obviously I'm going to try and get more in. Simon Vaughan says, like your videos, Penny, please keep them coming. I'm looking to getting a 3D printer, but not sure which one to get. I can stretch to about £500. Will I need more? Don't know. Again, thank you, Penny. Right, okay, before I answer this comment, please, I need to stress that this is personal opinion. I personally own the Creality CR-10, I think it's the 5S. Basically it's a 300 by 300 millimeter print bed. It's made of what I call Chinesium, which means the parts are quite cheap and some of the parts will wear out quickly. It's about three to £350 printer, depending on where you buy it from and when. And there are parts that you will need replacing very, very quickly. My personal opinion is that if you can find a Creality CR10 for about £350, be prepared to spend about another 100 to 150 on it. It will work straight out of the box, but within probably a couple of weeks you'll be wanting to replace the print bed. So you'll need to buy some mirror tiles. I bought mine from Dunelm. I've replaced my hot end, and I've replaced my I forget the bit that's called, the bit that pushes the filament in. The actual hot end, for the amount of printing that I do, it gets replaced probably every 3 to 4 months at a cost of about £30. I am looking at getting a better upgrade, but for £500, yeah, not a problem. You'll get the printer that I'm doing, and there are better printers out there. There's bigger printers out there, but obviously the cheaper you go, the more you've got to be prepared to do upgrades, because you only get what you pay for. Horlick says, great deal as always, Penny. Thoroughly enjoyed episode. Using the 3D pen to seam the joints looks so satisfying. Yes, it is. as I use the 3D pen more, I get slightly better at it, and I'm now obviously I've made videos beyond this, and I'm starting to find that I'm getting some nice smooth joins. In actual fact, we did a big thing, one of the early videos, about glues, but I'm not even thinking about glue anymore. It's quite strange. Steve Graham says, are those 3D pens any good? Penny, great video. Right, as a non-artist, I can't tell you if they're any good as an art pen. My pen was very cheap. As a welder, I find it extremely good, because I can join two pieces together using hot plastic. Once it cools down, you've actually got a join that's very, very tough. If you're doing, I mean, I've seen videos on YouTube where they're making creative stuff with them. I don't even come close to that. So once you start doing, I'm using this at a very, very basic level. It's a little bit like the airbrushes. If all you're going to do is use an airbrush for priming or just laying down a base coat, the cheapest airbrush on the market will do the job very well. If you're starting to do crazy stuff with it, insane detail, then you want something better. So I would say yes, the 3D pens are good, but I'm not using the pen to its full potential. Love Mini says, super job sticking to your budget and yet staying busy. Alan Allsop says, I'm really looking good now, mate. Amazing work. Chris Campling says, love the new music. Brilliant video as always. David Trapp says, thanks for the shout out. Chris Davies says, love your videos, and I'm glad I met you, and always a pleasure. And Darren Breer says, excellent build. I just want to go back to Love Minis. She says that amazing, super job sticking to the budget and yet staying busy. I feel it's important to stick to budgets, because I'm going to be doing another video in the future which is going to be called, well, it's going to be part of this video, which is going to be called the true costs. Now, what I've shown you on the videos is only the successful prints. There's a lot that's gone wrong, and I must confess, when I bought the printer, I was spending about £40 a month on part works and models, and the idea of buying the printer was to make my own models and figures and whatnots, and save some money. However, since starting the R2D2, I'm actually, instead of trying to save money by spending less than £40 a month, I'm actually spending over £40 a week on Filament. So it's kind of gone crazy. Some people would use the word addiction. And I do print a lot, and it's cost me more money since I bought this printer because of all the things that I print. So one of the first things that I thought of when doing this R2 was to stick to a budget. However, what do you do if you get a failed print? Now, I personally, when I've got a failed print, I've just done a reprint, and then on the video I've shown you the successful print. So later on I will be showing you what happens when it goes wrong, how much I've actually spent, and you might actually be quite shocked. As for keeping busy, that is the idea. That's why I've worked on two sections at once. We're working on the dome at the moment, and last week we worked on the base ring. Another video we'll be working on the body, and we'll be working on the body before we finish the dome, and then eventually, I haven't made the videos yet, but we'll eventually be working on the legs. And what that should do is it should give us about 3 or 4 areas that if we can't work on one area, we'll work on another. It also keeps the interest levels up. If you find you're working, say for example on the dome, and you find it's getting a bit of a drag, and you get up in the morning and you go, I don't really want to do any more work on it, don't. Work on a different bit. Wait till you get your enthusiasm levels back up, or maybe you'll get bored of the body. And I think it's important just to try and do something. I aim to do 2 or 3 hours a week on this. Some people might have time to do more. But I am aiming this as a part work. Okay, so I'm going to waffle on no more. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's starting to come together now. And yeah, it's starting to get, I mean, each week that I do this, it just gets a little bit more fun. So thank you everyone who support this video. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. It really does help my channel. And obviously the more that my channel is helped, the more content I can offer to you. So that's it then for this week. Take care guys. Look after yourselves.